Good afternoon. It's 5 o'clock on November the 18th, 2023, and I'm calling this session of the Bastrop City Council meeting to order. City of Bastrop reserves the right to reconvene, recess, or realign the regular session or called executive session or order of business at any time prior to adjournment. We will now move to item number 2, citizen comments. Madam City Secretary, do you have anybody that wishes to make a comment?
No, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. We will move now to agenda item 3, approval of minutes. Consider action to approve City Council minutes from November 7th, 2023 regular meeting.
Motion to approve as written.
I have a motion. I have a motion by Councilmember Crouch and a second by Councilmember Lee. Madam City Secretary, if you will call the roll.
Councilmember Crouch?
Yes.
Councilmember Lee? Yes. Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland?
Yes.
Councilmember Plunkett?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. We'll move to item number 4, items for individual consideration. 4A, consider action to approve resolution number R-2023167 of the City Council of the City of Bastrop, Texas, to canvass the November 7th, 2023 special election for Proposition A and establishing an effective date. Madam City Secretary.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Per the Texas Election Code, Section 67.002, canvass of precinct returns, the precinct election returns for each election shall be canvassed by the political subdivision governing body. On August 15th, 2023, per Ordinance 2023-27, the Council called the special election for November 7th. This election was held on November 7th, and this election was to consider a combined ballot proposition, City of Bastrop Proposition A, reducing the economic development sales and use tax and adopting a street maintenance sales and use tax. The returns of the special election have been made to the City Council and show that the results of the election are as follows. Proposition A, there were 802 votes for City of Bastrop Proposition A. There were 367 total votes against City of Bastrop Proposition A. I'll be happy to entertain any questions that you have.
Council, do you have any questions for our City Secretary? Seeing none, we'll take a motion to accept the canvass votes as read by the City Secretary.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Councilmember Meyer.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Plunkett. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Secretary, if you will call the roll.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember Plunkett?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland?
Yes.
Councilmember Lee?
Yes.
Councilmember Crouch?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. This is a very momentous occasion for our fair city. Thank you all for y'all's efforts on this. Moving on to item 4B, consider action to approve resolution number R-2023-16 that denies an increase in revenue and a change in rates proposed by CenterPoint Energy Resources Corporation, DBA, CenterPoint Energy Intex, and CenterPoint Energy Texas Gas, authorizes continued participation in Texas Coast Utilities Coalition of Cities, representation of the city by special counsel intervention in proceedings related to CenterPoint's statement of intent, and requires a reimbursement of municipal rate case expenses. Madam City Secretary, if you'll give us a quick rundown, I'll follow up.
Good evening again. This came from CenterPoint, and we have Alfred Herrera is our counsel for the CenterPoint items. He's with Herrera Law and Associates. His advice, he gives advice on any documents that we get from CenterPoint with them raising the rates or whatever adjustments they're making, so his suggestions. And so I'll back it up a little bit. We belong to the Alliance of CenterPoint Municipalities, and so Mr. Herrera has advised us to adopt a resolution that he prepared for us denying this rate. And so that's where we are with that. We lean on his legal opinion of this, and so we defer to his legal advice on how to handle the CenterPoint items that we get filed with our office. And so that's his advice to us right now, is to adopt this resolution denying it.
Council, as the city secretary said, we belong to an alliance that looks over CenterPoint's rate structures, rate increases, and provides us advice from their perspective after taking careful consideration of what's presented. And it's a fairly lengthy package that they submit with their rate increases. When they submit those rate increases, and because we are part of that coalition, there are three things that we can do. We can do nothing, and their rate increases go into effect. We can, within 35 days, when we're in that 35-day window, when they file their application, we can suspend their rate requests as we continue to look at it. Or within 35 days, we can absolutely deny it, and means that they're going to have to come back with something that's palatable to all the cities that are involved in that coalition. This attorney representing the alliance is recommending that we deny this application and let them resubmit after they sharpen their pencils and look at their numbers once again. I have some material and some information here, but my recommendation, as is staff's recommendation, is that we deny this application for a rate increase. I'll be happy to entertain a motion or discuss this further, or if you all have questions for the city secretary.
I have a question. So you said it's an alliance. So how many people are in this alliance, make up this alliance? Is it all councils within a certain area, or how is that alliance?
Well, in my understanding, within the catchment area that is served by CenterPoint Energy, the majority of the municipalities within that catchment area belong to this alliance, because it protects the interests of the general public, each one of our communities.
Right. So if we deny it, and we're not the majority denying it, though, the rates would go through? Because is it a vote? Because we're saying we deny it. That attorney doesn't represent all of the alliances. Does he represent everyone?
He represents the alliance and those members of
everyone
the
in the alliance.
That is correct.
Got it. So everyone's getting the same recommendation.
That is correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Councilmember Crouch.
I didn't have any questions. The packet was really well written, so it was easy to understand all the different options, the three options that you presented. So I was just going to make a motion to deny as recommended.
Yeah, to accept his recommendation to deny.
Yes, recommendation to deny.
Thank you. Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Crouch. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Secretary. Oh, sorry.
I just want to make sure that this motion is adequate to approve resolution 166. 2023-166, because that's what we're trying to do, right?
We're trying to approve
the resolution, which denies it.
Which denies it.
Right, so I just want to make sure his motion was adequate to do that.
That is correct. I believe it is when he voiced it, it was that it would, we're voting to deny the request through this resolution. Is that correct, Mr. Crouch?
Yes, I can do it again?
No, I think it's well covered, and I appreciate Councilmember Plunkett looking for that clarification. Okay, no further questions. Madam City Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Councilmember Crouch?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland?
Yes.
Councilmember Plunkett?
Yes.
Councilmember Lee?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Once again, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to 4C, consider action to approve resolution number R-2023-168 of the City Council, City of Bastrop, Texas, authorizing a 3-month extension on the contract between the City of Bastrop and Electric Cab of Austin. Attaching Exhibit B, authorizes the city manager to execute all documents, providing for a repealing clause and establishing an effective date. Ms. Butts.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Yes, we're just recommending
City Council approved the 3-month extension for ECABs that was recommended by Council at the last meeting in November 7th. That will extend the contract out till February 29th, and it will include the ECAB services for the parade day and regular services at their rate of $75 an hour, which was last year's rate. With that, I open up for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Meyer.
Thank you, Candace. Just for clarification, at our last meeting, didn't I move that we wait a week to see what the information was? If we had more information on other options? I just don't know if the motion at the last meeting was to extend it for 3 months. I just want to make sure we're clear on.
So we opted for a minimal extension because the contract ends at the end of the month. So some action while we research the other options, the Uber, et cetera.
Right. So it's possible then to extend that for the 3? That's all my
And
questions.
it's $37,000. What is the total cost?
$29,775.
And rather than shutting off the service completely, we opted to maintain a level of service till we can explore other options, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland.
Yeah, not even sure where to start. This is still crazy expensive. I don't even like paying for 3 months of it. I'd almost be inclined to do a 1-month offer back to them at the existing price, and if they don't take it, then we just shut it down, and even if they take it, we shut it down at the end of the month extension. That's the path.
Is that to give the residents 30 days notice?
Yeah, just notice to the residents that this was funded by a grant. That grant went away. The service is ending in Bastrop. That's what I would do with it.
I think one of the ways, a couple of things we're exploring is we can create a new schedule that is more compatible to the services that were required of ECAB, a reduced hourly requirement in there, changing their scope of services. I think a little bit more push toward the tourism side to be able to utilize other funding sources. But again, it's the pleasure of the council on what we do. I would hate to pull this type of service from a portion of our population that utilizes to access needed goods and services without giving it really good consideration, allowing staff time to come up with an alternative plan.
I'm in total agreement, Mayor. We spend a lot of time talking about paying thousands and thousands or thousands of dollars on fireworks, but then when it comes to providing services for the public, we want to be reserved in what we're spending. Some of the residents in our community rely on the ECAB for quality of life. Their understanding was this was going to be a service that they were going to have and they were going to need, especially our population 65 and plus. I've received phone calls from the community not wanting the service to go away. I think 3 months' time is ample enough for us to figure out a way to make sure that we can still provide this service, even if we put in stipulations for people over 65 can ride for free. It's now $3, whatever. But I do think it's unfair to just pull the service from the citizens for the 3-month extension while we work something out. It's not doing our citizens a favor here, and that's who we are up here to represent.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland, you still have your light on? Yeah.
No, I'm done. Thanks.
Okay. Councilmember Crouch.
City Manager, did the ECAB, have they made any type of offer as far as reduction in their cost to us?
No. Really, my focus has been, since it is not hot eligible now that the statistics are here, and we know that it's not being used by any of our tourists, what is it going to have to look like in order for that to be funded by a hot fund? Because the alternative is a general fund. In order for it to look more like a tourism, it's not going to serve the residents, Councilmember Lee is, and if it maybe is an ancillary benefit because we've been talking about a hop on, hop off, or a dedicated path that does circulate from the hotels and goes to all of our needed areas in Bastrop. That may or may not pass by the HEB. That may or may not pass by the Walmart where some of these folks who are using it now. So it's two completely incompatible uses. Even if we revamp it to use it for hot funds, it's still not going to fill the void that Councilmember Lee is talking about. So I think we have two distinct problems. Neither one is related to the other. Right now, they're kind of related, but we've been, our hands been slapped by the hot fund folks. I think we still need to address the issues for our seniors and who's getting around and who's getting what. We are researching that. I told you about the Uber and I told you about some other solutions, but I think that's separate and apart from the ECAB. Unless the city wants to dedicate a specific cab, but I think that's more a partnership with CARTS than it is with the ECAB people. Because CARTS is more dedicated, it has grant availability. I mean, that is more a stable, and I'm pointing to the mayor, no offense, Mayor, because he's the CARTS expert, but that's the more stable transportation piece, as opposed to the cab on and off.
And so there's been no offer of reduction off of the hourly rate?
No.
For them to say, okay, if we stay in Bastrop, if you're considering getting rid of us completely, we'll reconsider and we'll give it to you at this much money.
But have y'all had time to have that discussion?
No.
I haven't had the discussion.
So I'm in agreement with Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland as far as the timeline. I don't think we need 90 days to negotiate that piece of it or to get some more answers for it. I think if we do an extension for 30 days and then we get 30 days to get a response from them, and then hopefully the response is we won't need to charge as much as we're charging, because obviously if you can get a Uber or some other rideshare type company to come in at a third of the cost or a quarter of the cost, there's no need in us paying full price for that. And we're not leaving everybody without a service because we still have the CARTS bus, correct? I mean, it's not like we're pulling everything away from anybody that needs a ride. There's still an option for that.
So I'm a little bit confused because to me this is apples and oranges. If I go back to ECAB and say, what's the best rate that you can give me in the next 30 days, and they come back with $65 an hour, let's say, it doesn't resolve the hot fund issue. It is still a general fund expense.
No, I get that. It's still going to be a general fund thing. It's not going to come from the hot funds. Yeah. But my question is, if they, there's obviously there's a big gap in cost of what any other ride share is in the ECAB. It's $75 an hour to $25 an hour or something like that. And I don't see why we need to pay that extra fee, especially when we already have the CARTS bus here. So I don't see how I couldn't do it from a feasibility standpoint, on knowing that we're spending more money on something we could get for less.
So you're not necessarily saying go negotiate with the ECAB and go try to bring me a $65 an hour rate. You're saying go find a better rate that is more akin to a $25 an hour rate that would still provide service to our seniors, but at a much less rate that could still serve some of that needed population.
Yes, and I'm surprised that if ECABs know that we're considering at all that we're about to get rid of them, that they wouldn't come back and say, don't get rid of us, we'll offer you this reduced rate. I'm surprised they haven't already done that.
75 to 25 is a big jump for a company. That's a big jump. I would venture to say the Uber and the other methods of transportation are appealing to me because they also create an employment here. We have a lot of folks who are drivers for Shipt and Favor and some of those other third parties. So we'll continue to research, but I will go back to them on Monday and say what is the best rate that you can provide. And is council looking for a specific percentage? Are you looking for half? Are you looking for just.
I think one of the things that we're looking at is we need to make that deep dive and to figure out what is available out there and how it might best serve our needs. What are our needs? Are we looking to serve the population, the transit-dependent population, which we need to have a longer conversation with CARTS on that? Are we looking to enhance the accessibility to some of our nightlife and restaurants and what is our best options there? And I think we need to explore all that, but we need to have time to do so. But my take is that we don't want to exactly pull the service until we make that deep dive. Whether it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, it makes no difference. We still got to have that time.
No, I agree you need some time. I don't think it needs to be 90 days, though. I think we can do that in 30 days. And tell me if I'm wrong.
How about we
got
split
a
the
lot on our
baby?
plate,
How about we split the baby and do 60
60.
days? How about we split the baby? And I'll tell you that because this next 30 is the holiday season, right? So, and let's say we decided that we're going to give them 60 days. 60 days from today is end of January. Most folks will say they didn't hear about it, during the holiday season. So it's a good 30-day notice. So
I think that's a great idea.
So if somebody would like to make a motion.
I have one more question.
Go, I'm sorry.
So,
please go ahead.
Between carts and e-cabs, what's the difference in service?
Very quickly.
Right now.
The cart service runs from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It serves a general public purpose. And any trips allowable within the catchment area. And they have several different types of service. They have on demand, they have demand response. They have some commuter service in place, service to the airport and into downtown Austin.
Yeah.
The e-cab serves a particular niche in the evening times for people to access the nightlife, restaurants, and other activities in town Thursday through Sunday. If I'm not mistaken. Carts does not operate on weekends. So they fill in that weekend gap.
They fill in the weekend gap. But if someone needed to go to the grocery store, they could still call carts.
not on the weekends.
Monday through
Yes.
during the
Monday
week.
through Friday.
Monday during.
They either access it through an app or through calling an
through an
800
app,
number.
so it would still can be like an individual service.
Yes.
Okay.
And carts is more appealing to me from a senior perspective because they do go into Austin. You can get to your doctor's office in Austin. You can get further on a carts vehicle with some planning. It's not like your normal bus route, right? That you're sitting at the bus, but they have carts on demand. They have carts now, and then they have the longer. So if we're looking to serve that niche of people who are needed and have to go to the doctor, have to go to the grocery store, and that's their only method, I think carts is the way to do it. If we have a niche of people, because I heard somebody tell me that their child ends up using the e-cab on the weekends because cart service runs, and that's how she kind of can get back and forth to work. That is more an Uber, third-party driver solution that is sort of on demand, and you get a certain number, like what I told you guys about the city of Kyle. So I think there's a wide variety of solutions. I don't know that e-cab is doing what it needs to do right now, either for the tourist or for the residents. It's kind of filling a little hole in the dike, but we're still leaking over here.
Yeah, it's not clearly defined. I'm in agreement. Councilmember Crouch.
I've used a cart bus before because I've been without a car temporarily, and so I've called. They come almost there immediately. They take me where you want to go. It's very inexpensive. It's readily available, and so I don't think that we're leaving our residents without service. I know that Monday through Thursday, 7 to 7, and the weekends maybe we are, but I don't think we need to kick the can quite down the road to 90 days. For the e-cab to make a decision on if they want to give us a reduced rate or if we want to decide if we even want to continue it. But I don't think it's worth the fee that they're asking us to pay. Just my 2 cents worth. Thanks.
Thanks, sir. Any further questions, discussion? Then I'm looking for a motion.
Mayor, may I ask one question of Councilmember Crouch? So that consideration, would 60 days be agreeable?
It would to me, just because of the holiday period. If it wasn't a holiday period, because I just don't think they need that much time to decide if they're going to give us a reduced rate or whatever the negotiation might be. But if you want to throw the holiday in, to me, there's just 5 days of holidays. I know people take off a week to go do whatever they're going to go do, but the holiday period's overrated as far as trying to get something done. I think. My birthday's on Christmas, so I understand the holiday better than anybody. So anyway, 60 days, I would be fine with 60 days, but I don't think we need to push it to 90 days.
Okay. Okay, any further questions?
Okay, I'll move to approve Resolution 2023-168, changing the 90 to 60 days.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Plunkett, a second by Councilmember Lee to approve the resolution with the change from 3 months to 2 months or 90 days to 60 days. Any further discussion, comments, questions? Seeing none, Madam City Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Councilmember Plunkett,
Yes.
Councilmember Lee,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland, Councilmember Crouch.
Yes.
Okay, council, motion passes 4-1. Thank you, Madam City Manager, for your advice on this. We are now moving to agenda item number 5.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. We are adjourned.